is John Johnson,
And I'm Phil Sun,
and we'll be talking about the attack of Pearl Harbor.
and we're from the Toyori Shinto War Network.
Alright, the Japanese attack left its home waters on November 26, steaming a circuitous route towards Pearl Harbor. Fleet Commander Vice Admiral Nagumo received his final orders on December 1st, and on the morning of December 7th, the battle group was in position 275 miles above Hawaii. Around 6 a.m., that's when the first aerial attacks had been started. And as the Japanese bombers approached, they saw that Hawaii was completely unaware of the attack, and Lieutenant Commander Murata's torpedo bombers headed downward to launch their torpedoes, while Lieutenant Commander Itayai's fighters raced forward to sweep the enemy fighters from the air. Takahashi's diver bombers group had climbed for altitude and was out of sight. Commander Mitsuo Fujita made a circuit around Barber's Point to keep apace with the attack schedule. Surprised, there was a radio transmission at 7:53. Surprise attack successful was accordingly sent to Akagi, the flagship of the Japanese attack fleet. The attack was opened with the first bomb falling on Wheeler Field, followed shortly by dive bombing attacks on Hickam Field. Commander Mitsuo Fujita's level bombing group had entered on its bombing run toward the battleships moored to the cast at Ford Island. On reaching an altitude of 3,000 meters, he had the sighting bomber take position in front of his plane.
As we closed in, enemy anti-craft fire began to concentrate on us. Most of them came from ships' batteries, but land batteries were also active. We were fortunate that the plane was still under control. It was imperative to fly a steady course as they approached the target. They had missed the release point the first try, and would have to attempt to release the bombs again. The group circled for another attempt, and before beginning their second bombing run, there was a colossal explosion in the battleship row. The shock wave was felt even several miles away from the harbor. As they began their run and met with a fierce anti-aircraft concentrations, this time the lead bomber was successful, and the other planes of the group followed suit promptly upon seeing the leader's bombs fall. The target, the two battleships, lay ahead. The bombs became smaller and smaller and finally disappeared as they were dropped up below. When an armor-piercing bomb with a timed fuse hit the target, the result was almost unnoticeable from a great altitude. It was the battleship Maryland that they had hit. As the bombers completed their run, they headed north to return to the carriers. Pearl Harbor and the air bases had been pretty well wrecked by the fierce strappings and bombings. The imposing naval array of an hour before was gone. An anti-craft fire had become greatly intensified. They saw no more enemy fighter planes. Their command of air was unchallenged by any other force. Earlier today, the American ambassador Robert Roberts conducted an inclusive interview with the great Emperor of Japan, Master Hirohito. Back to you, Bob.
Konnichiwa. My name is Robert Roberts. On behalf of the Toyori Shinto War Network, I will be interviewing the Japanese Emperor Hirohito today.
Hello, Mr. Roberts.
Hello, Mr. Hirohito. How are you doing today?
Good. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, pleasure's all mine. It's a pleasure meeting you, Mr. Hirohito.
It's my pleasure.
Alright, if you don't mind, I have a few questions for you today. Okay, first question. Why did you order the attack on Pearl Harbor in Oahu, Hawaii?
Well, I didn't exactly order my people to attack Pearl Harbor. Hitler ordered me to. I obviously obeyed him because he had great political and military leadership. He had a wonderful history. He knew what he was doing. He wanted to create a perfect nation, and I wanted to do that as well. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your answer. Next question. Could you explain your position of authority that influenced your demand on your people?
Well, I was obviously the Emperor of Japan, and I had supreme spiritual influence over Japan. So anything I would say, my people would easily obey. For instance, if I were to call off the attack of Pearl Harbor, they would easily obey.
Oh, man, you're a pretty big ruler in Japan, aren't you? Alright, next question. Do you believe that Chinese people are better than Japanese people?
No, no, just glad I know. Chinese people don't even live.
I'm sorry for that question.
It's okay.
Okay, last question. What are your relationships with Hitler?
Well, he was obviously my superior leader. We both had nationalist ideals. We wanted to become a perfect nation. I didn't want to become a minority of the Asian nations. I wanted to become one of the great rulers of Japan, to become one of the top dogs of the Asian nations. So yeah.
Okay, last question. Are you aware of the vital consequences that you will be facing because of the United States retaliation against your bombing of Pearl Harbor?
Hold on a second.
Well, this interview looks like it's over. I'm Robert Roberts of the Tayori Washington Network, and I wish you all a very good night. Thank you.